And to say that the resident masters wanted to announce that at 5 o'clock in their apartment, they're going to be 5:30. Sorry, 5:30 in their apartment. They're going to be having a sandwich making venture from Sammy's, so people should go to that. It will be fun. And yeah, there will also be cookies and fudge somewhere around halfway through the lectures or so.
Yeah,
so
we started that a little bit too late for it to be here right now.
It is nut allergy safe, I think, and also safe for most other allergies.
She thinks. So
check your allergy with me, and I'll see if you're safe for you.
Okay, so first person up is Glenn. He'll be talking about the Canadian dollar and its history.
I'm going to start the countdown after you start, so just begin whenever you're ready.
Okay, then I'll never be ready.
Okay, you've got 15 seconds.
Tell me when to start.
Go.
There are a shitload of coins in Canada, there are a shitload of bills. They destroyed all that and went to the one singular Canadian dollar. And then gold standard from like way before when to 1914, off the gold standard because they were like, World War I, we want gold, we don't want gold standard. And then 1920s, they were like back on gold standard, except not really. So then 1930s, Great Depression, shit happened, boom, done. 1940s, World War II, shit happened, done. And then IMF happened, so they were like, let's have fixed exchange rate to help world peace and stuff. And then Canada was like, no, I am IMF, but I'm also floating exchange rate. IMF angry. 1960s, Canada was like, fine, IMF, back on fixed. 1970s, stagflation. Canada was like, ooh, see you. Floating exchange rate, back again. 70s, that was done. 80s, still a lot of inflation. What are they going to do? So then they were like, Milton Friedman, please help us. Milton Friedman was like, I'm a monetarist, please control M1, which is narrow monetary aggregate. And I was like, yes, I will. 90s, still depreciation, still inflation. 2000s, it got better, but it's still like kind of shitty. Mainly because we run on commodities, we depend on commodity prices, whereas the US is so much better, it depends on manufacturing, so it's more stable, safe haven currency for you, and really, really kind of crappy currency for us. But overall, awesome. And we still have that kind of low exchange rate going on, even though we were on par before, but now we're getting like lower, 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 lower. All right, cool, any questions?
So next person up will be Jordan. You'll be talking about SCAV and international relations. I want to stay a lot closer to the podium.
Or you can just talk.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. You begin when you're ready.
I got my own timer. Okay, here we go. So in a lot of ways, SCAV is a lot like war. The basic atomic unit of SCAV is the house. Houses are a lot like nations. To paraphrase the great Charles Tilley, houses made SCAV and SCAV made houses. Now in a lot of ways this parallel holds up. Teams face domestic audience costs, they worry about resource management, and they have a long history of tyrannical and egoist leaders. So the question sort of becomes, once you sort of accept the comparison, that SCAV and houses have a lot of parallels with war and states, what paradigm of thinking about international relations tells us the most about thinking about SCAV? There are three broad schools of international relations theory that really have a lot of power. Realism, liberal institutionalism, and constructivism. Realists argue that the international system is anarchic, that it's all about relative gains, that you can't know the intentions of other teams, and that your primary goal is survival. They also say that resources are the key unit of state success. This one clearly doesn't work for us, despite the fact that it's kind of my baby, because the team that has the longest winning streak in the history of the game is at a resource disadvantage. So clearly there's something else going on. Also, the system's not anarchic. There is a hierarchy. The judges decide who wins, and we are fighting for more than just survival. Liberal institutionalism says that democracy is the key thing that makes the state system work. Democracies have an advantage. Clearly false, because the longest winning team is not a democracy. So the only answer left is that constructivism is what matters. That's clearly correct because it's all about values and identity, and that's why this team wins. And I don't need 5 words, I only need 2. Fucking yeah! Fucking yeah!
Okay, next up is Al Hoffman. I wrote down here Pelif I know, but apparently she's talking about the history of sugar. So. Oh, hey, food!
Speaking of sugar, we brought it. Sugar.
That was.
Right here.
I love this table. This table is free. So is egg now.
Oh wait, we're starting now?
Sorry.
I think the food frenzy is happening.
Yeah.
If people don't let me eat one of my own cookies, I'm going to be angry.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone with nut allergies, the chocolate allergy is nut free.
So the cookies are also nut free. I'm pretty sure they're also trace free, but I wouldn't swear that in court of law.
The chocolate chips are trace free.
Which if they're not, you might have to.
Oh my god, this is amazing.
Oh man.
Oh wow.
Does this count as an insect? No.
This is alright guys, that's my
Well,
speech.
we are learning a lot about sugar.
These cookies were my touches. Thank you.
There's more fudge
Begin when you're ready.
Okay, tell me when to start. You got the timer, right?
No, I'm gonna start after you. I'll start talking.
Okay. So, sugar. Sugar is a carbohydrate compound found in most green plants. However, the two main sources of it for the United States are sugar beets and sugar cane. Sugar beets only actually became at all relevant in the 19th century because the process that refined them was too efficient until then. Sugar cane was first domesticated in New Guinea, carried to the Philippines, then to India, then maybe to Indonesia, we're not really sure about that. It got to the New World in 1483 on Columbus' second voyage. It was actually taken over by some monks who thought it would be a good idea to get a monopoly on the sugar trade in the New World. They thought it would also be a great idea to bring over some African slaves to farm the sugar for them on the grounds that they could convert them to Christianity, and it would be all to the good. This didn't really work out very well for the monks, but Brazil thought it was a good plan too, and they did it without the monks, but with everything else, and gave land grants to anyone who would come over to the godforsaken wasteland, settle there, and grow sugar. Sugar became basically the foundation of the Brazilian economy, and it later became pretty much the foundation of the economies of Java, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, and most of the other sort of colonized states in the right latitude. Now, sugarcane is almost always farmed by slaves or some sort of mass exploited labor group at the time because sugarcane cannot be stored and it requires an incredibly intensive amount of labor for brief periods of time during the year. Beet sugar, when it eventually popped up, became about 50% of the market overnight because the world wars happened and people were like, hey guys, wouldn't it be great if we could produce our own sugar? Okay, so we're not buying any from anyone else. This is why the sugar policy in most of the developed nations is incredibly Byzantine and insane and taxes everybody else. Also, U.S. substitutes local cane sugar and beets and time. Cookies.